One of the hardest things for beginner traders to snap out of is this term called strategy hopping. The term strategy hopping refers to finding a strategy, trading it for a little bit, then not liking the results it produces you, so you immediately try to go find another strategy. And that is popular amongst beginner traders, myself included. When I was a beginner trader years ago, I would continuously hop from strategy to strategy, whether it was ICT concepts, back to SMC, maybe to supply and demand. After the beginning stage of my trading where I continuously strategy hopped and continued to fail, I then settled down on one system and one simple set of rules, and I have now had months where I've made over $70,000 in 1 month, and I teach this exact strategy to the students in my Discord every single day on a live trading call where they profit thousands of dollars per day. Without further ado, I'm going to show you this strategy, how to use it, and then I'm going to show you live backtesting examples of this strategy. So without further ado, do not forget to like and subscribe and share the channel. And if you want access to the live trading Discord where you can produce results like my students and learn this exact strategy every single day, the links will be in the description. Let's get into the charts. So before we get any further into the video, the first thing I want to do is be completely transparent with you guys and show you all my TRADEZ calendar. Okay, so as you guys can see, I trade the same strategy every single day. This was my best month ever of over $73,000 in the month of October. You head into the month of November, it was a little slower, okay, $20,000 month instead, but still a super good blessing, showing you this strategy is consistent with the winning days. We have more of those than losers. Same thing like I said here in the month of October, same thing here in September. 20,000 a month. So as you guys can see, this strategy averages me about $20,000 a month, but on any given good month where things are extra well, I can make up to $70,000, I guess. And if we head over into December, we can see that the profits are a little smaller. That is because I am trading my live account. And in these previous months, I was trading my 10 Apex copy traded accounts. So that's why the profits are a little smaller. I also said in the opening part of this video that my students also profit off this strategy with me every single day in live call. Well, let's actually scroll through and see that, this guy had a good day on the funded. Same thing here. This guy's about to pass his eval. If you go up here, you could see this guy passed his Apex accounts, 715 in a day. This guy made 700 in a day. This guy made 458 in a day. This guy got his funded certificate. This guy got 500 plus in a day. I mean, we could see this guy had his trading day. So, we could see that, there we go. We could see that my students profit off of this just like I do. It's not only me with the success, I get to share it with my students in the live trading Discord every single day. And as you guys can see, I mean, we could scroll forever with these results. If you want access to the live trading Discord to trade this strategy with me every single day, you can find that in the description. Now let's go over what this strategy actually is, how to find it, how to plot it, and then we will actually live backtest it on my backtesting software. So as you can see here by all these yellow boxes on my chart, you can see they are all marked without through price. This is called support and resistance. That is the exact strategy I trade, support and resistance. Well, what actually are these yellow boxes representing? Well, pretty self-explanatory. They are representing my support and resistance zones. That is what I trade, and that is what the basis of this video is about. Now let's actually go over how you can look for it and how you can find support and resistance zones. Okay, so here we have actually drawn out this little structure using the tool on TradingView. Now you may have seen a trader do this before when talking about key levels, and I'm going to do the same thing because it is a super good way to explain key levels. So let's actually start right here. Down here we can see that price came to a low point and then pushed its way all the way up. Well, the good part happens here. Price comes down to the same exact low point here. As you guys can see, they are pretty equally aligned. And instead of breaking through and creating new lows, price shoots its way up. Well, self-explanatory. For the third time, what happens here? Instead of making new lows, price cannot break this same area that it continues to bounce off of and only bounces off of it once again. So understanding those points that price continues to bounce off of the same area twice or even 3 times, using it as continuous areas to fuel big moves, we will take our zone and that is what we will create. that is your area of support. Vice versa with resistance, you have 3 times where price moved up to the same area and could not make any highs. It just continued to flush down and make moves off of it. You can then take your yellow zone box or whatever color your zones are, and you can mark that off as your area of resistance. You are looking for areas where price has fueled a big move, and you are looking for price to come back to that area and fuel the same exact move. You are not trying to predict the market, you are only trying to get in with the big buyers and sellers. We look here in this area, we could see that price topped out in this area before making a huge move to the downside. Price started up here and in this very trend ended up all the way down here. That is a massive move, showing that when sellers reach this very point up here, that there is enough orders and big giant whales and selling pressure for them to push it all the way down here. Well, we are not trying to beat out that very move. We are only trying to do what the sellers once did and get in that very same move. As you guys can see right here, price came back up and retested the zone. Although it made a huge move to the downside here that you could have capitalized on a lower time frame, technically the zone did not hold here and it broke through the zone and started making new highs. Well, that's actually not a bad thing. We can see I dragged the box all the way across here, and as you guys can see, as price came down to this very same area that was marked out over there, it rejected here and made a huge move to the upside here. So these zones are highly usable, whether it is support and or resistance. Let's go over an example like this that shows the respect of the zone and not the use of the support turning it into a resistance zone or vice versa. We can see here that price comes up to this zone here and makes a huge move to the downside. That means that we'd say, okay, there's clearly selling pressure in that area. Okay, now we're going to wait for price to return to the area. Well, what does it do? It returns to the area, respects the same selling pressure that was over here, and gives us a fat move to the downside that we easily could have capitalized on. As far as a bullish example, we can see that price comes down and wicks and touches this very area. But instead of making new lows and going down here, it actually respects the area and shoots up with a huge move. Well, what happens when price comes down to the very same zone that we have marked out that respected over here and made a move up? Well, to your best guess and your knowledge, price shot up to the next zone right here, and you could have taken a trade somewhere in here. So clearly price loves to respect these zones, and not only respect them, as I showed you in the first example, it can even break above these zones and then use them again for other types of moves. Support and resistance does not limit your opportunities, it only increases them, because not only does price respect these zones several times, as you can see here, but it actually, even if it breaks above them or below them, you can then use them again when price returns to those very areas. Let's say you are trying to trade something like fair value gaps. Let's say you have a fair value gap right here. Well, if price comes through and breaks above the zone right here, that fair value gap is deemed invalid and no longer usable. You would then have to delete that fair value gap as it is deemed to not have been respected. Well, that is where the good thing about support and resistance came. As I showed you guys in that example, you can clearly use zones that are broken above or below. They do not get deleted because they were not respected. In fact, they are still used as pullbacks into those zones, as I showed you guys in that very area. As I said before, I'll say it again, support and resistance does not limit your opportunities, it only increases them. I am now on my backtesting platform, and I will now show you guys a couple examples. So let's actually start with analysis of this area. We can see that price comes up to this area and fuels a huge move down. That is the key. You are looking for big moves up or big moves down. Okay, so if we look here, there's clearly a large trend move down here. We can then mark out this very area. All we are now waiting for is price to come back to the area, respect it, or break above it and retest it for 2 potential plays that look like that. So let's actually play this out and see what we get. Prices return to the area, we can see that price is having trouble making new highs and breaking above it. So we can then look and see that price has actually respected the same area many times as it did over here, and then even produces a bearish engulfing candle. You can then enter upon the bearish engulfing candle because you can see that price is respecting the same area as it did over here, and you can then target the next area of market structure and you can actually watch the trade play out. Well, let's take a look at this zone actually right here. We can see that price came to the area, respected it here, and made a large move up. Not only that, it returned to the very same area, respected and accumulated in it again, and made its very move up. So as we can see right here, price is clearly respecting this area. It stopped here, made its move up. It came back down, and instead of breaking under and making new lows, it pushed up again. Well, now as we can see again, price is in this very zone once again, rejecting off of it. We can clearly see right here by all the continuous moves and wicks off of the zone that price is clearly wanting to potentially respect the same area that it did over here twice. What we can do is that we can then enter the trade. We can put our stops below the wick. We can target this area up here of prominent market structure, and we can actually watch the trade play out. Finally, I want to show you guys an example where price actually breaks through and respects the zone. So as we can see here, price clearly has multiple touches in this area. It dumps here, it comes back up, it dumps again, then it breaks up, it rejects the area here, and finally makes a move up. So you can see that price clearly respects and rejects off this area multiple times. Well, it comes back down, and instead of respecting the same area it did over here and making a move up, it actually breaks through the zone, and now we can see that we are clearly breaking under the zone, as I showed you in that very first example on TradingView. We now see that price is actually returned into this very zone and rejecting it with bearish pressure. It did not break above, it did not make new highs and do something like that. It clearly respected the area, as you guys can see by my circles right here. We can then enter the trade off the confirmation of the bearish example, and we can actually then watch the trade play out once again. So guys, I hope you enjoyed and got a clear understanding of how good support and resistance can work. As you can see, it works well for me, it works well for my students, and all that good stuff. I hope you guys got an understanding of it, how you can do it, and how you can learn from it. Don't forget, if you want to trade just like I do every single day on live call, the link for that will be in the description. I genuinely appreciate you all being here, and don't forget to make 2026 a good one. If you guys need mentoring, if you guys need prop firms to trade, if you guys need live calls to get on, etc., links for that is down in the description. I appreciate you all being here, and I will see you all in the next one.